Shadows from the Walls of Death by Robert Clark Kedzie. Published in 1874, stands as the only book that will literally kill you through physical contact. This book contains 86 actual samples of arsenic-pigmented wallpaper that were commonly used in Victorian homes, making it too dangerous to read without protective equipment. Kedzie created this educational work to warn the public about deadly wallpapers that contained up to 36 grams of arsenic across all samples. This book will kill you through arsenic poisoning if you handle the pages without protection, as the toxic dust can be inhaled or absorbed through skin contact. Of the original 100 copies printed, only 4 survive today, because libraries destroyed the rest due to their lethal toxicity. The surviving copies are sealed in protective containers and kept away from public access. This book will kill you more efficiently than any fictional horror story because the arsenic content remains deadly over 150 years after publication. Libraries that still house copies require special handling protocols and warn that prolonged exposure could cause chronic arsenic poisoning, organ failure, and death. The King in Yellow by Robert W. Chambers, published in 1895, features a fictional play within the story that drives readers to madness, suicide, and self-destruction, making it too dangerous to read even in its fictional context. The book presents the idea that certain knowledge is so corrupting that exposure to it destroys human sanity completely. Within Chambers' stories, this book will kill you through psychological devastation, causing readers to lose their minds, harm themselves, or take their own lives after reading just the first act. The fictional play is banned throughout the imaginary world Chambers created, because authorities recognize that this book will kill you through mental collapse rather than physical violence. While the real book by Chambers is not banned, it explores themes of forbidden knowledge and cosmic horror that influence later writers like H.P. Lovecraft. The horror lies in the suggestion that some information is too dangerous for human minds to process, and that this book will kill you by revealing truths that shatter psychological stability and the ability to function in normal society. 4.48 Psychosis by Sarah Kane, published in 2000, presents the final work of a playwright who took her own life shortly after completing it, making it too dangerous to read for those struggling with mental health issues. The play consists of fragmented thoughts, poetry, and dialogue exploring severe depression, suicidal ideation, and the complete breakdown of psychological stability. Kane wrote the piece while experiencing severe depression and psychosis, creating a work so raw and hopeless that this book will kill you emotionally if you're in a vulnerable mental state. The title refers to 4:48 a.m., the time Kane identified as when depression hits its deepest point and when she felt most suicidal. Mental health professionals have warned that this book will kill you psychologically if read during periods of depression or suicidal thoughts, as it offers no hope or redemption. The work has been pulled from some theatrical productions due to concerns about its impact on audiences dealing with mental health struggles. This book will kill you through its complete absence of hope and its unflinching portrayal of mental illness as an inescapable prison. The Dumb House by John Burnside, published in 1997, follows a man who conducts horrific psychological experiments on children to discover the origins of human language, making it too dangerous to read due to its graphic depiction of child abuse disguised as scientific research. The narrator describes isolating children from all human contact to see what language they would naturally develop, subjecting them to sensory deprivation, starvation, and psychological torture. This book will kill you emotionally through its clinical description of systematic child abuse presented as intellectual curiosity rather than cruelty. Burnside creates a narrator who shows no remorse for destroying young lives in pursuit of knowledge, making the horror feel coldly rational rather than emotionally driven. While not formally banned, several libraries have restricted access to this book due to its disturbing themes involving child endangerment and psychological torture. This book will kill you through its suggestion that intellectual pursuit can justify any level of cruelty, and that scientific curiosity can become monstrous when unchecked by human empathy. Lapvona, by Otessa Moshfegh, published in 2022, depicts a medieval world of extreme poverty, violence, and moral decay, where characters commit acts of cannibalism, infanticide, and sexual violence with casual indifference, making it too dangerous to read for sensitive audiences. The story follows Merrick, a deformed peasant boy whose life becomes entangled with a corrupt lord's family in a village plagued by famine, disease, and cruelty. Moshfegh presents graphic scenes of child abuse, sexual violence, and cannibalism while maintaining a darkly comic tone that makes the horror feel both absurd and deeply disturbing. This book will kill you psychologically through its relentless portrayal of human depravity without offering any redemption or hope for the characters or their world. The book faced content warnings from multiple retailers due to its extreme violence and disturbing sexual content involving minors. This book will kill you through its nihilistic worldview, where every character is either victim or perpetrator, and where survival requires abandoning all moral principles and human decency. Boy Parts, by Eliza Clark, published in 2020, follows Irina, a photographer who sexually exploits and psychologically manipulates working-class men while documenting their humiliation and pain, making it too dangerous to read due to its graphic depiction of predatory behavior and sexual violence. Irina uses her camera and social position to lure vulnerable men into situations where she controls and degrades them, taking photographs that capture their exploitation and suffering. Clark presents scenes of sexual coercion, psychological manipulation, and class-based exploitation through Irina's narcissistic perspective, making her predatory behavior feel both realistic and deeply disturbing. This book will kill you emotionally through its unflinching portrayal of how privilege can be weaponized to exploit and destroy vulnerable people. While not formally banned, the book has faced content restrictions on several platforms due to its explicit sexual content and disturbing power dynamics. This book will kill you through its demonstration that predators can be found in any social class, and that art can become a tool for exploitation and abuse. The Secret History, by Donna Tartt, published in 1992, follows a group of elite college students who commit murder and gradually destroy each other through paranoia, guilt, and moral corruption, making it too dangerous to read for its seductive portrayal of intellectual elitism leading to violence. The story begins with the murder of Bunny Corcoran and works backward to show how his classmates planned and executed his death after he discovered their previous killing of a local farmer. Tartt presents the students' descent into murder as the inevitable result of their pursuit of transcendent experience through classical studies and their professors' teachings about moving beyond conventional morality. This book will kill you psychologically through its suggestion that education and privilege can corrupt rather than enlighten, and that intellectual pursuit, divorced from human empathy, leads to monstrous behavior. The book has been challenged in some educational settings for its graphic violence and its potentially harmful message about academic excellence. This book will kill you through its demonstration that the most dangerous people are often those who believe their intelligence and education place them above ordinary moral constraints. The Tender Flesh, by Agustina Bazterrica, published in 2017, presents a dystopian world where humans are bred and slaughtered for meat after animal consumption becomes deadly, making it too dangerous to read due to its systematic normalization of cannibalism and human farming. The book follows Marcos, who works at a processing plant where humans are raised like livestock and slaughtered for consumption in a society that has completely accepted this practice. Bazterrica depicts graphic scenes of human butchery, breeding programs, and meat processing, while exploring how quickly civilized societies can adapt to previously unthinkable practices. This book will kill you psychologically through its clinical presentation of human slaughter as routine industry, showing how economic necessity can override fundamental moral boundaries. The book has faced content restrictions from several retailers due to its disturbing implications and graphic descriptions of human processing. This book will kill you through its suggestion that humans can rationalize any atrocity when survival demands it, and that moral boundaries are far more fragile than we believe. American Rapture by C.J. Lead, published in 2024, depicts a world ravaged by a sexually transmitted virus that turns infected people into violent, lust-driven creatures, making it too dangerous to read due to its graphic combination of sexual violence and apocalyptic horror. The story follows Sophie as she navigates a collapsing society where the virus spreads through sexual contact, turning victims into mindless predators driven only by violent sexual urges. Lead presents disturbing scenes of sexual assault, body horror, and societal breakdown, while exploring themes of religious extremism and sexual repression. This book will kill you emotionally through its relentless portrayal of sexual violence as both symptom and cause of civilizational collapse. The book has faced content warnings and restrictions due to its explicit sexual violence and disturbing religious imagery. This book will kill you through its nihilistic vision of sexuality as a destructive force that inevitably leads to violence, degradation, and the complete breakdown of human society. Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, by Eric LaRocca, published in 2021, presents an epistolary horror story about two women whose online relationship escalates into extreme sadomasochism, self-harm, and psychological destruction, making it too dangerous to read due to its graphic depiction of consensual violence and mental deterioration. The story unfolds through emails and text messages as Agnes and Zoe progress from casual conversation to increasingly dangerous acts of self-mutilation and psychological manipulation disguised as romantic intimacy. LaRocca depicts scenes of self-harm, psychological abuse, and extreme body modification, while presenting the escalating violence as expressions of love and devotion. This book will kill you mentally through its portrayal of how toxic relationships can escalate to life-threatening extremes while maintaining the illusion of consent and affection. While not formally banned, the book has faced widespread content warnings due to its extreme depictions of self-harm and psychological manipulation. This book will kill you through its demonstration that love and destruction can become indistinguishable, and that people will inflict incredible damage on themselves and others in pursuit of connection and acceptance. Hog, by Samuel R. Delany, written in 1973, but not published until 1995, follows an 11-year-old boy who becomes the unwilling witness and accomplice to Hog, a violent criminal who commits rape, murder, and extreme sexual violence, making it too dangerous to read due to its graphic depiction of child exploitation and systematic abuse. The story presents horrific scenes of gang rape, torture, and murder through the perspective of a child narrator who doesn't fully comprehend the atrocities he's experiencing, but describes them in disturbing detail. Delany's work explores power dynamics and sexual violence while featuring some of the most extreme content ever published in American literature, including graphic scenes involving children as both victims and witnesses to unspeakable acts. This book will kill you psychologically through its unflinching portrayal of how children can be systematically exploited and traumatized by adults who view them as disposable objects for their violent pleasures. The book remained unpublished for over 20 years because multiple publishers refused to release it despite Delany's reputation as an acclaimed science fiction writer, recognizing that this book will kill you emotionally and potentially trigger severe psychological trauma. Even today, many retailers and libraries restrict access to the book due to its extreme content involving child sexual abuse and graphic violence. This book will kill you through its demonstration that innocence can be destroyed systematically, and that some adults view children as nothing more than tools for their own twisted gratification. If you want to discover more literature that will psychologically devastate you, be sure to watch the video, "The Darkest Books with the Creepiest Endings Explained," for stories that will haunt your thoughts and challenge your faith in humanity.